Did you know that we have channel memberships now? If you'd like to help support this channel, get some exclusive Kawabana emotes to use in the comments, as well as an exclusive badge by your name, click that join button now to find out more. Every bit of support really helps. Thanks guys. The year was 1915, only the 4th year of the Taisho era. A janitor for Tokyo Electric Light Company entered the Koishikawa branch early on the morning of March 15th, and there discovered a grisly sight. 4 employees were on the first floor badly injured and covered in blood, whilst upstairs he found another 4 members of the family who managed the branch also lying on the ground and covered in blood. Only one, the branch manager's 4-year-old child, remained unharmed. Something terrible had clearly gone down overnight. But what? Why? It was a case that would ultimately be solved by impressive detective work. Let's take a look. Upon finding the bodies, the janitor immediately notified police. The Tomisaka police station was located only a short distance from the branch office, and so an assistant inspector, doctor, and several detectives rushed over to the scene. In addition, a preliminary judge from the Tokyo District Court, a public prosecutor, and an investigator from the Tokyo Metropolitan Police also joined in the investigation. The injured were rushed to a hospital, but 3 of the workers, as well as the wife of the branch manager, died shortly thereafter. Another worker was also confirmed to have died on the scene, and then the other 2 injured adults also died. Only the child, too young to understand what was going on, survived. This was no casual attack. It was clearly premeditated. But why? And by who? The police initially questioned numerous people, but found themselves at a loss. Everyone involved in the incident had died, and the only survivor was too young to understand or explain what she had seen. They did, however, have one important piece of evidence: the murder weapons, a sledgehammer and an axe. Detectives traced them back to Nakamura Shoten in the same city, and there they discovered that a man of roughly 40 had entered the store on the evening of the 14th, wearing an Inverness coat. The man seemed to be from the countryside and brought a sledgehammer and an axe. Hearing this, the detectives realized they were no doubt dealing with an already convicted criminal and not someone committing their first crime. And they were right. The police initially went through several suspects before, on September 12th, half a year after the horrific incident took place, they brought in a man named Oiwa Torajiro. Oiwa, a 38-year-old former restaurant owner, was tracked down because of a pocket watch that belonged to the dead branch manager that went missing the day of his death. Several personal items were noted missing from the victims during the investigation, and police visited pawn shops all over the city looking for them, but were initially unable to find anything. Oiwa was also seen leaving the city the night of the crime wearing an Inverness coat. Because of this, he became the #1 suspect, and so detectives lured him to a soy sauce brewer in Mito City on September 11th, and when he arrived, 4 detectives jumped and arrested him. Police were so certain that Oiwa was their man that numerous detectives were then deployed from the Tokyo Metropolitan Police, and he was escorted there via a heavily guarded train. He arrived the following day and was immediately questioned. It didn't take long for Oiwa to confess, and he also gave up his accomplice, 38-year-old Katori Hikojiro. Katori worked as a civil engineer and was promptly arrested that same night and brought to the Tokyo Metropolitan Police Station the following day. As suspected, Oiwa had 3 previous convictions to his name, so this wasn't his first rodeo. He even became acquainted with Katori in prison, a man who attacked his own uncle with a razor and spent all his money. And once both were released, Katori started work at the Sugamo branch office of Tokyo Electric Light Company. Both Oiwa and Katori knew of the Koishikawa branch manager because They had seen him coming and going from prison whilst they were there, and they believed, just from the sight of him, that he was rich, and thus a good target for robbery. Oiwa confessed that he attempted to break into the branch office the night before the crime took place, but it was snowing heavily that day and so he was unable to. He and Katori tried again the next day, sneaking in through a rear toilet window and initially attacking the 4 workers still on the first floor. Oiwa hit 2 men with an axe, while Katori hit the other 2 with a sledgehammer. They then stole upstairs and attacked the branch manager and his family members, leaving only the child unharmed. They stole what personal effects they could and tried to break into the safe, thinking more valuables were inside, but they were unable to, and thus left it. Both men then fled and went their separate ways until they were finally tracked down by police. Their first trial was held at 10 AM on October 18th in the Tokyo District Court. Despite the terrible weather, the court was crowded with spectators who wanted to see what would happen to the pair, and the courtroom was said to be incredibly hot and humid because of it. Prosecutors sought the death penalty because of the horrific nature of the crime and how savagely it was carried out. Court reconvened on the 22nd, and both men received their verdicts. Guilty. Both were sentenced to the death penalty, and their faces reportedly went pale as the verdict was handed down. Numerous guards and officers stood nearby in case the men turned violent, but that proved not to be the case, and the men were quietly escorted back to prison. It's unknown when exactly their sentence was carried out, however, only that at some point it was. And that marked the end of the horrific case that started over half a year earlier. 7 people were killed because 2 men thought they could make some easy money, and careful detective work over several months and numerous suspects finally tracked them down with nothing more than 2 separate witness sightings and the murder weapons left behind. But what do you guys think of this one? Let me know in the comments below and I'll see you again next time.